Well, hi Pisces, welcome to Universal Guidance Tarot. It is time for your weekly reading. I've shuffled these cards very well. I'm going to shuffle them just a few more times. This is a two-part reading. The overall energy of this reading will be in the middle of the first part of the reading. So Pisces, let's find out, what can you expect coming up in your life? Okay, Pisces, the overall energy of your reading is the Knight of Cups. There's an offer coming in. This is a sincere love offer. Male or female, they're coming in. So let's find out why this card is surrounding your entire reading. Up here in your highest energy is the Five of Pentacles. You've been feeling lonely, discarded, rejected, or left out in the cold. You might have been ill, but I really feel like this is more on the loneliness side. The Knight of Cups and the Five of Pentacles are the two highest energy cards in this entire reading. So someone's coming in to bring you out of this Five of Pentacles. You're not going to be lonely for too much longer. They're also bringing a pentacle. Look at this. This is an offer. Now, you may not know this at first, but they have a huge pentacle. Look at that. They are grounded, secure, stable, and they are committable. This Knight of Cups that's coming in. This Ace of Pentacles is next to the Emperor. This is the card for Aries. Aries might be strong in your chart someplace or in someone else's around this reading. But more importantly, this is like being stubborn, being fixed-minded sometimes. It's like this is up in your energy. I feel like you've been kind of holding out. Okay, that's the right word. Holding out for the right thing or the right person to come along. And I think you've been holding out for someone who has a pentacle. And I feel like it's paying off. And you are very well liked and respected by others. You might be a leader in your job or your profession by the Emperor's card being here. But I feel like you've held out. You've been lonely. You've been wanting this to come in. I think you've waited a long time because you're stubborn. You have a stubborn side, and you're not settling for anything less. And in it comes. So this is waiting. This is waiting for things to come to fruition. Look at all the pentacles. They're just not blooming, and you're almost, it feels like you're just getting down in the dumps about the whole thing when this happens. Next to the Knight of Cups is the Star. So the Emperor, holding true to yourself, just kind of waiting for the right person to come along. And it's like they better have love and pentacle. They better be sincere. And they better have a pentacle. Or I'm going to just stay in this loneliness. I'm going to live on my own until if this ever happens. Well, in the meantime, you've been doing a lot of healing. I think you had a previous relationship that actually left you out in the cold, and that's how you became into your own, being true to yourself, telling yourself that you're not settling. And the Star card, this is the card for Aquarius. So Aquarius might be strong in your chart or around this reading. But this is seeing your own reflection, remembering who you are. It's deep, deep healing, right down to your bare bones. So deep healing. So it's like all this healing you've been going through. You haven't been spending this time alone for nothing. You've been healing. And healing right back to knowing what you want from life, what you don't want from life. There's a lot going on here. So under the Seven of Pentacles, all this waiting, you're almost ready to give up. Is it ever going to happen? I have the Four of Cups. So this is I think somebody trying to come back in. That this is what's been going on. You've been holding true. It's like you've been healing. You've been spending your time alone. I think this is the same person or whoever who left you feeling this way was trying to come back in, and you rejected them. You said, no, that doesn't work for me anymore. I have the Seven of Swords next to the Four of Cups. This is being deceitful, lying, stealing, cheating. Could be any number of things, but it is a deceitful energy. And I feel like this Knight of Cups is like a fresh new energy that's coming in. You rejected this cup because of this energy that came with it. I have the Justice card right next to the Seven of Swords and under the healing card of the Star. The Justice card is the card for Libra. Libra might be strong in your chart or around this reading. But you've become, in self-protection mode. You've got your sword up. You've got your scales balanced because of all the healing that you've done. You know you don't want this. You know it now. Even though it left you feeling really bad in the beginning, you've found your power. And then in comes this offer that seems to have what you've been waiting for. You reject this other person who left you out in the cold or left you feeling rejected, and just holding true to yourself, and then wondering, almost ready to give up when this Knight of Cups comes in. Interesting. Okay, so we have the Eight of Swords here. There is truth here, all behind you. Okay. You don't even know it's there. Truth and clarity. You were living in this place of not moving forward, the Emperor, trying to hold true to yourself by not getting out there, by not learning your spirit, your healing, your spiritual. This is probably a big part of a spiritual lesson here. You just have been stuck. This is an illusion. You could have moved forward sooner, but you decided that you didn't want to. Okay? So, it's right next to the Page of Wands. This is like a declaration that you've made, and I think you've made it to yourself. This is about holding on to a staff of fresh starts and new beginnings. I think you've really told yourself, making a declaration like, I will never put myself in this position again. I am not settling for anything less than what I have had or that I want. And you're just going to be stubborn because it's the Emperor and hold on to that thought. You're really going to be particular who you let into your life, who you're going to let your love go out to. The Page of Wands is actually facing the Queen of Wands. These are all male or female, by the way. For the Queen of Wands in your highest energy line, there's that staff again. So it feels like you've been very stubborn, holding true to yourself, waiting for that right person, the perfect person to come along. And then you find yourself, the staff, you kind of change from the Page of Wands to the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands, this is more like a staff of passion and new beginnings and fresh starts. I feel like it's because you're lonely. I feel like it's because of the first card here. It's taking too long, okay? And so you're kind of like opening the criteria of what you desire a little bit more so you can let a little more in. Because you are lonely. You do want a fresh start and a new beginning. You're a very passionate person, and it's very difficult for you to be without somebody for an extended amount of time, and I feel like that's what's been going on. Next to the Star card and under this Eight of Swords is the Four of Wands. This is a divine soulmate card. This is union between two people. This can be marriage. There's a lot of happiness associated with this card. Now, you are feeling like blocking even thinking about that. You're like, no, don't want to do that. Don't want to go there. But, I think you've already moved forward from this type of energy. And I feel like you're just like, you don't want to go do that again if it's not going to last. So I have the Chariot right next to the Four of Wands. I feel like you've moved forward from it. I feel like this is part of the Page of Wands and that pledge that I think you've made to yourself about holding out. So what it looks like is we have the Queen of Wands. So you're ready to move forward, but you're moving forward kind of slowly. You have the Six of Swords. You are gathering up swords of truth and clarity. So you are seeing the truth and clarity of this whole issue that got you in this place to begin with. And you are moving forward away from rocky waters towards a smoother, calmer place in your life. It's hard work because you're pushing the boat with a pole, but you're doing it. It's kind of slow. But I think you can take off fast if you want to with the Chariot next door. We have the Nine of Wands right next to the Justice card. You know, trying to keep your balance, trying to keep your guard up, your sword up. And it's under the soulmate card of the Four of Wands. And so, you know, this is union, you know, between two people, a lot of love, a lot of joy. And you're just feeling worn out. I think you're worn out from trying to keep your guard up for one thing and trying to keep your scales all balanced. And you're worn out from this soulmate energy. And I think that's what left you behind. And I think that might be who tried to come back in that you did not allow in, because you want the pentacle and you want the love. You don't want this. You feel like there was some sneaky behavior there, and there really might have been. And you're just feeling worn out. You're like, that pole is holding you up. That's a staff of fresh starts and new beginnings. And I feel like there might have been a few breakups with this person, because there's a lot of staffs here, a lot of new beginnings. And I just feel like you feel worn out over the whole thing. I don't think they give up. I think they keep trying to come back in here. And then I think you do accept their return. I think eventually they convince you to please accept their cup of love. Please. Because they're willing to settle down. They're willing to become more grounded and committed. I feel like they were taking the relationship for granted before, and now they want to take it to a higher level. And this is what you've been waiting for. I don't think you ever really got over them, but I think you finally let them back in. And that's why the Chariot is above the Three of Cups. This is a reunion card. You're just like, you know, trying to be very stubborn, and I think it's really wearing you down, because I think you still have a lot of love for this person, a lot of good memories, and I think they're going to promise settling down with the Ace of Pentacles here, the Four of Wands, and this Three of Cups is right next to the of Pentacles. Pentacles are really important. This is one of those things you're holding out for, the Pentacles. Union between two people, being very grounded. This is a, family situation with extended family, pets, there's a child. This is like marriage. You have like two cards of marriage and commitment. I think you're going to end up accepting their cup of love. You're going to get on the slow track on moving forward with the person you would not let come back in before. Because they left you out in the cold. But they've changed. And they really, really, really want you to accept their apology. I think there's an apology associated with this cup of love. Because they do love you. Wow. Jeez. That's going through a lot, isn't it? But I feel like it's all working out here on the slow track. I'm going to take out one more card for this reading, and it's Temperance. So Temperance, this is the card for Sagittarius. Sagittarius might be strong in your chart or around this reading, but this is your guardian angels and spirit guides. They have been working really hard to get you rebalanced. Remember the Justice card? You become rebalanced. You've had one foot in the emotional waters, one on the ground. They want both your feet on the ground so you can make informed decisions on moving forward. Their job is to temper you, is to get you balanced. And that's what they're doing. They're really looking out after you. You were so balanced that you become so balanced that you weren't able to take any risks. But then you kind of break down as time goes on. They wear you down because you see that they are very sincere. And you decide, yeah, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to move forward. Let's take it slow. And you're going to believe that they're being sincere this time. So, goodness, this is your reading. So Pisces, thank you so much for watching Universal Guidance Tarot.